Hi, I'm Steve with Sycam. Today I'm going to show you how to use the Bravo autoclave. The Bravo is Sycam's vacuum autoclave. This machine is very fast, start to bone dry in about 35 minutes. It's very quick, I really like it. So if you've got one of these at your office and you're trying to figure out how to use it, the first thing you need to know is the power switch is on the side. This one has a green push-in power switch, as you can see. Some of the newer ones will have a black flip switch. So if yours doesn't look like this green one, don't worry about it. The Bravo door is unlocked by default. So all you need to do is just pull on it and the door will open. Inside you can see we have racks in there now. You can also fit cassettes. In this box here is what we call a biofilter and just an empty spot. Some machines have a printer in here. So let's go over first how to set this up. You have a couple options. In the back there's some ports that your service technician may or may not have used. One of the nice things about this machine is you can set it up with a large fill bottle. So you can set this up under the sink somewhere, under a cabinet, fill it up with about 3 gallons of water, and the machine will just pull the water as it needs it. It's very easy to use, and this is the way I recommend setting it up. So that goes under this right-hand port. The left-hand port right here that there isn't a brass nipple on right now, that is a direct-to-drain. So this machine can actually drain out the dirty water right to the drain and makes it a lot easier for you. The idea here is that we use fresh water every cycle, so we do need to pull in clean water and exhaust the dirty water. That helps prolong the instrument life. So now that you've seen how to hook it up, if you ever need to drain it, the clean water drain is this third port here. All of that information is in your manual. So let's get back to how to use it. Now, when you get your autoclave, if you don't have that fill bottle and drain kit, you can call Sycam or your dealer and ask them to send one out to you. But if you don't, there's another way to fill it. Excuse me, we've got this jug here. Now this is just a simple jug with a tube on it. If you look at the autoclave here, you've got H2O in and H2O out. So what you want to do is actually turn the machine on, because if you don't turn it on, you can't hear the beep for when the machine's full. When you turn it on, it's going to beep at you. You want to make sure to have the door open so it can test the barometric pressure in the room. Once it's done beeping, it says checkup complete, and you'll hear the fan kick on and you're ready to go. So now we've got the machine on, so now we can fill it. This one said automatic filling. Don't worry about that. Yours is going to default as manual filling, and if you get that external bottle, we can change it to automatic filling. So if you look here, there's 2 ports in the bottom. One says H2O out and one says H2O in. So what you'll do is the machine will hold 2 of these. So just unscrew this cap, fill it up close to the top with distilled water only, and then connect the fitting to the H2O in port. Now keep in mind, if this is full and you put the tube down here, the water may drain out if you tip it. I don't have much water in here, so it's not going to be a problem this time. So you snap this into the fitting, then what you're going to do is set the bottle up on top of the machine, and you'll want to loosen the cap so that there's an air gap. Now the machine will take the water. This takes a little while doing it this way. The other method with the large bottle is quicker, but it'll hold 2 of these. So you'll do this once. Once this is empty, bring the bottle back down below the port here so that it doesn't leak, and then the water will drain back in. Once you've done it twice, you'll hear the machine will beep at you once it's full, and it'll also show on the screen that it's full. So what you're really listening for is the beep. If you do put too much water in the machine, it'll come out the back at the back top. It won't damage the unit any, but that's where the water is coming from. So now that you have it full, if you need to empty it, it'll say exhaust level max. Depending on the cycles you run, you'll get anywhere from 5 to 10 cycles before you have to empty it. It comes with a tubing here for the drain, and this just goes into the drain port here, snaps in. To release these ports, all you do is press on the metal fitting on the side. So you'll snap this in and water is going to come out. So either drain it into a bucket or drain it into a sink if it's nearby. Keep in mind the water coming out isn't sterile water, so you do want to be using the correct personal protective equipment. Now that you've got your machine filled and you know how to drain it, we'll go into how to load it and run it. So as you can see, this is how you'll receive your Bravo. There'll be either 3 or 5 racks in it. You can take these racks out, and some offices like to use 3 of them because it gives you more height. Or if you're using cassettes, we can handle that too. So there's a couple of ways to use this internal rack. This is one of the ways. The cassettes slide in, and you can load it this way. If you find that you don't have enough room in this configuration, or if you're using cassettes, take those racks out, and what you want to do is pull out on this inner rack, and then you turn it to the right 90 degrees, and it snaps back in on a pin in the back there. I don't know if you can see it on the video, but if you look inside your machine, you'll see it on the back left-hand corner. Now, you can fill it with cassettes. I'll grab a couple here. And what I recommend doing is filling it from the bottom. That makes it a little easier when you're putting them in. If the cassettes hang up at all on the inner rack, just pick them up a little bit. That's why I recommend going from the bottom, because it gives you a little room to pick up. Especially if you're using half-size cassettes, you kind of got to get your arm in there. So we'll fill it up with the cassettes. One reason I was feeling around on the edge of the cassette there is on some of these, there's knobs on the side. It works best if the knobs go to the right. That way there's plenty of room on the side where it doesn't hang up. Sorry, we've got an instrument hanging out there. That shouldn't be. So if you've got the knob to the right, it won't hang up. Sometimes if the knob is to the left, that instrument's falling out on me again, you can, they'll hang up on the wire rack inside. So just keep that in mind if you're using these style cassettes. Now, that's how to load it up with cassettes. If you're using just the trays here, I'll show you how to do that in this configuration as well. Some offices feel like this gives them more room when they're using the baskets. There's a little more room here between the bars, and it's a little bit wider. So if you like laying your instruments in this way, you can do it. The one thing to keep in mind is that if you do it this way, on the middle and the top rack, the rack can slide and fall in. So you just want to either have it all the way to the left or have it in the middle. In the offices I've installed it in, a lot of them do like this configuration, even though the machine isn't designed for it. If you're careful, it works pretty well. The other option, if you're using cassettes, is to keep one of the racks on the bottom for handpieces or any other looser bagged instruments, and that one can't fall anywhere, and then you load your cassettes onto the upper 2 pieces. So, now you've got your cassettes or your instruments loaded. One side note, at Sycan we recommend paper side down. The reason we recommend that is because it allows water to drain out of the bag, and we feel that things dry better. That goes for the same in our Statim autoclaves. So when you load this up, you'll want to layer the instruments a little bit. You don't want to just stuff it completely full, or else even with a vacuum it could be tough to dry. And if you need to fold the bags, I recommend folding plastic on plastic. That way there's paper all the way around and the water can drain out. So now that we've shown you how to set up and load the Bravo, let's show you how to run it. Once you've got it filled up, you can shut the door. And on the screen here, you'll see 4 different buttons. Right now the lock symbol is flashing because the door is unlocked. It also shows you the temperature and pressure, the date. Now if you open the door and the machine slow beeps at you, it probably won't do it right now because we haven't had it on long enough, but it's just telling you that it's hot. It's just a warning that the machine is hot inside. Right now it's not beeping at us, so it's not hot. So once you're ready to run, you've got the button on the left here, which gets you into the options. Probably won't need to worry about that. This is a vacuum test, which is kind of something that service techs will be dealing with. What you're primarily concerned as the user of the machine is this button here, which is cycle select. and then start and stop, which is all on one button to the far right. So if you press the cycle select button, you'll see it scroll through 4 different programs. So the first program is porous wrapped. Porous just means anything with a tube in it or something similar to a handpiece. So if you have handpieces in the load, you'll want to run the porous wrapped cycle. That means handpieces that are wrapped. The next one, even though the language switches to hollow, is the same idea. It's a handpiece or something similar, but unwrapped. You'll see it says unwrapped. Third option is solid wrapped. If there's no handpieces, all solid instruments, this cycle's a little bit quicker, so you can run the solid wrapped cycle if you have solid instruments that are either in bags or wrapped in sterilization paper. Lastly, you've got solid unwrapped, just like it sounds. Solid instruments that are not wrapped or in paper. So once you select your cycle, you're going to hit the start or stop button. So you hit start, and you can see that the machine pulls the door in tighter, and then it'll go through its warm-up. Now your first cycle of the day will be a little slower because the machine isn't quite up to temperature, but as you go through the day, the cycles will be quicker. So that's it. Once the machine is done with its cycle, it'll beep at you, say cycle complete. This the lock icon will start flashing again, and then you can just open the door and take out your instruments. Now, I'm going to turn this off just to get the fan to go off so you can hear me better. Now when you're ready to take out your instruments, we do give you a handle like this, so it snaps onto the tray, and that way you can pull them out without burning yourself. So, one other thing is if, say there's a power outage or something like that while you're running the machine, or if there's any sort of problem, the machine will give you an error code. I'll show you how to reset it quickly. It'll turn back on. This one's going to simulate a power outage because we turned it off. It'll beep at you. It says blackout now leveling. That just means it's bringing the internal pressure to the same level as the external pressure. Once it's done with its checking here, it's going to tell us to open the door, and then it'll tell us to reset the machine. So as you can see, it says press the up arrow to unlock the door. The up arrow is on this far left-hand key here. You press that, and the door will unlock, so then you can open it. Now it'll say reset system, and it says because of a blackout. If this happens, you want to look and see if there's an error code here, because if there is, you can call Psychian or your technician and figure out what might be wrong with the unit. It could be something very simple. So it says reset system. The way you reset the system is you hold this cycle select button for 3 to 5 seconds, and then it'll beep, and you're back in business, ready to run the unit. So that is how to set up and run the machine. Now let's look at the little bit of maintenance. It's actually a very simple unit for maintenance. You've got your door seal here. I'll turn the machine. The door seal here needs to be changed every year. Very simple to do. You can have a service tech show you how to do it. We also have a filter in the bottom here. Now the unit comes with a little wrench. I like to keep them in this side pocket here. All you want to do is take this out and check the filter in here. It's easy to do, and when I screw it back in, I just kind of put it in finger tight. If there's any error codes on the unit, this is the first thing to check. What it is a screen filter that you pull out, and you'll want to look inside it. You may find some lint built up, and what you want to do is clean that out. There's two filters that comes with the unit. You can throw this one in the ultrasonic to clean it, and put in the other one. So you just slide that back in, and then screw it back into the machine. Now there's also a biological filter. This is an air filter for the unit. When this turns grayish, or every 6 months, you want to change it. All it does is unscrew, and then same idea, you just screw it back in. It comes with 2 of them, so this is where I keep the extra. If the machine tells you an error code saying exhaust level max, that's time to drain it. So that's it. If you have any further questions about the Bravo or any issues, please call your local Psychian representative, your dealer, or call Psychian at 1-800-572-1211. Thanks.